Hello Kitty key. So it doesn't rip the door apart, pull all the paint off. Hey, what's up? Thought I'd make a quick video today. Tell you guys that you're right. You were right and I was wrong, kind of. Recently I made a video where I expressed some of the dissatisfaction. I guess I was just getting grumpy and grouchy about this thing not being completely perfect. And a lot of the comments and feedback that I got from that video was that I'm just being too picky. Just live with it. It's an old car. It's going to have its gripes and issues, and just deal with it and just be happy with it, that it runs perfectly and that it looks perfect. And well, it's pretty close to being perfect. I'd say this is probably one of the few in the world that is in as good a shape as it is in at the moment, if that makes sense. Yeah, it wasn't that I was really upset about this thing, that I hate it or anything like that. Obviously, like, I make videos about this. I love this car. It was just that, like, a lot of things are going wrong with it all the time, and I don't want to be like in the cycle of restoring cars. Like, I'm kind of over that stage in my life where I want to constantly be doing work on my car. I just want something to be unique, be interesting to look at, to drive, and to just enjoy. It's pretty windy. I'm not sure if you'll even be able to hear me or not, but yeah, I don't want any of that. I just want something that's a car that, like, you know, you get in it, you turn the key, you drive it, and everything works as it should. And when the air conditioning vent on the passenger side on this car failed, that was like a 5-6 hour job to repair. When the sunroof rattle got so bad that I had to remove the headlining, and I found what was wrong with that, so I fixed that. So that's been fine ever since. Little things, you know, just starts dawning on you. So anyway, it's been about almost 3 months since this had a wash. I took it in for a car wash today. Recently, I was underneath it and I noticed one of the flaps that sticks out from the underbody panel. It's like a rubber flap. I think it's there to, like, dampen noise. I'm not even sure. That's dangling down now, and I actually it's gone. I was gonna show you in the video. So I actually got under this thing a little while ago, a few days ago, and I noticed that the underbody was caked in mud. And so I spent quite a bit of time, it's not perfect, but I spent quite a bit of time just like scrubbing it all and cleaning it off. And today I sprayed it down with degreaser and water blasted it all off. So it's pretty clean now. It's not perfect, but it's pretty darn clean. And there was a flap that was sticking out from where the, oh, there it is, you can see it, that rubber flap. And I thought, after all the work I've just done under this, after all that work, now I'm gonna have to pull that flap cover off that underbody panel and then redo it all. I say you guys are right, because I can't be bothered now. If I lose that flap, it doesn't bother me. I understand now what you guys meant. So yeah, while the sunroof rattle was bad enough for me to do something about it, and I'm glad I did, while I can't live with the passenger side AC vent not running, because that's just not acceptable. Check out this cool feather. Ain't that cool? While the AC vent for the passenger side not working is not acceptable, because this is Australia, it gets pretty darn hot, and you want your passenger to be able to get air. But for the rest of the stuff, yeah, you guys are dead right. I shouldn't stress about this too much, because unless you can financially and with time and space put something like this away for like 3 months, go to Japan physically, or just spend like a good week on the internet buying parts out of Japan in bulk for it, and then putting it aside and really going through it and basically giving it a mild restoration, new bushes, new everything, paint work, all of that, just to make it like absolutely perfect, you're gonna run into problems. I didn't understand exactly what you guys were saying when you said that, but now I get it. You're gonna run into problems constantly with these things if every little thing bothers you. The only way to get it right is to either deal with it, deal with the big stuff, which I've done, and then don't worry about the little stuff and just enjoy it. For example, you notice that the wheel center caps are missing. I'm going to use my funky feather now. So I pull those off because during winter, you might be able to see a little bit here. There's a tiny bit of rust coming up on this hub here. And because in winter, what happened was water got caught between the center cap, which sticks out here, and the hub, and it started rusting out. The hub is only like mild surface rust, but the center cap rusted out pretty badly inside, so I like sanded it back and like put what do you call it, rust inhibiting primer, and then I've like repainted it black. And then I thought, you know what, what's the point? Like, it's just the center cap. It doesn't need to have center caps on it. Like, it looks fine just as it is. So one day, like when I can be bothered, I'll put them back on. But in reality, like, I don't care if I don't throw them on ever again. I'm happy just to drive it and just to use it. So yeah, thanks guys. Thanks for the eye-opener. It's taken me a long time to get to the point where I am at the moment. Like, I've always just liked things to be perfect when it comes to the car. Actually, one more thing. So I mentioned this Hello Kitty key at the beginning, but it was dark. What happened was, when I got this car, I got another key cut for it. And so when I got the second key cut for it, I'm going to put this camera on its tripod. Yeah, when I got the other key cut for it, it worked fine, perfectly, like every day and since I've had this car for 2 years or so. And only recently did I go somewhere, and then I went and put the key in the ignition, and it went all the way in, but it wouldn't turn. And I don't know if it's a problem with the key or the barrel, so that got me freaked out, and I was like, oh my gosh, something else with this. What am I going to do with this car? And like, I jiggle the key and this and that, and then I move the gear lever and stuff just in case, because I mean, it wasn't turning at all. It wasn't like, it wasn't the steering lock, that's for sure. Like, the steering was free. So I swapped it out for its Hello Kitty key, which I was saving. I don't know why. Like, I had the Hello Kitty key as like the spare. And like, why am I trying to preserve this? Like, I can't be buried in it when I die. And that's a mentality, like, I think everyone should have towards cars. You can't be buried in them. Like, you have to use it. Use it as much as you possibly can while you have it. Get your money's worth, get your values worth out of it. Like, I don't want to be old, or I don't want something to happen with this, like if someone crashes into it or something, and I don't want to sit there and think, you know what, the only memories I have of it was like scrubbing the underbody or worrying about this or worrying about that. Like, the memory should be like out driving it. So there's a guy that I know, like so many Hiace owners around the world at the moment, from making these videos. There's one guy, Awace, shout out to you. He's driving his Hiace Super Custom from Melbourne up to Darwin, which is basically the southern end of Australia in the middle, to the northern end of Australia in the middle. Then he's putting it on a boat to like Indonesia or something, and then he's driving it around the entire world, like through Asia, Southeast Asia, through the Middle East, and up into Europe. There's another guy in Texas who drives one of these, and he's a postman. I mean, those guys are the ones that are going to have like the great memories. I'm going to have like the videos to look back on, but those guys are the ones that are going to say, I imagine Awace, like he's going to be like, I remember that time, and you know, when we stopped off next to an oasis in the middle of the Middle Eastern desert to have tea at like a little stall somewhere. Like, what kind of cool memory would that be when he looks at his Hiace? And I'll be like, oh, remember that time, like I bought like some wipers and they weren't the best, so I went and got some better ones, and then because I live in Australia, it didn't rain for 8 months, and then they just dry rotted and I had to get another set the next year. Like, what kind of memory would that be? That would suck. So yeah, I'm just gonna try and enjoy it as much as I possibly can. You know, like Ferrari owners, Lamborghini owners, things like that, they never get to enjoy their cars as much as possible. Why? Because a lot of them don't plan on keeping them for the rest of their lives, and so they know that they can only do like 3,000 kilometers in that car, because when it comes time to upgrade to the new Lamborghini, they don't want to be the one with like what do you call it, with like an extra 10,000 kilometers on it, because that could be like a 50, 60, $100,000 price drop on their particular Lamborghini versus all the other ones out there. So they just don't use it, and it's more like a flexing machine, and you can't really flex in a higher super custom. Like, who are you going to try and impress, like a middle-aged old man? So yeah, thanks guys for the kind words. Thanks for the support, and thanks for reassuring me that everything will be okay if I just live with it. All right, take care. Thanks a lot for your time. Goodbye.